Welcome back to the Mindset Channel, where ancient wisdom meets modern strategies to move your life forward. I'm Jono.
And I'm Crom. Today, we pull back the veil on the three words that echo through social media, therapy rooms, and late night arguments. Those three words are narcissist, psychopath, and sociopath.
And it's about time we had a conversation about this, I guess. So they've become almost conversational weapons, but
Yeah.
most people can't define what they are and have actually no business defining what they are. And worse, people use these terms as emotional shortcuts when what they're really saying is, I'm hurt.
Yeah. So the question is, are we diagnosing? Are we actually diagnosing something, or are we just projecting? I guess this episode will clear that fog. We'll define these labels, identify their patterns, and show you how to reclaim your power, no matter who you're dealing with.
All right. So, and this is what I love about your level of knowledge, Crom. And this is, I think, what sets us apart from a lot of other podcasts out there as well. So, Crom, take us there. Tell us the full story of the real myth of narcissist. Now, narcissist is where the term narcissist comes from. Over
Yes.
to you, Crom.
So, okay. So in Spanish, it's Narciso. That's his name. In Latin, it's Narcissus. All right. I'm just exaggerating that. So,
Showing off
um,
more to the point.
yeah. So in English, we say Narcissus. Yeah. So to understand Narcissus, we must begin with echo. Okay. You know, echo. You know, when you echo something, you repeat the words. Yeah.
Yes.
So Echo was a mountain nymph. So Echo is a person, and she was a mountain nymph, right? And specifically an Oread or an Oread. Yeah. And Echo was known for the power of her voice. Yeah. She can speak in melodies. She can persuade with rhythm, with tone. She captivated anyone with language alone. Yeah. So that's how powerful is Echo, right? And but she drew the wrath of Hera. Hera is the wife of Zeus, and Zeus is not the most faithful of all the husbands, right? And that's the difference again with the the person Zeus in Greek and the Roman god Jupiter. Because Jupiter is the sky father. There's Peter, Patre, and Zeus is a person that is the king.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so that's the difference there. But the Zeus, which is the Greek version of Jupiter, is Hera's husband, and he's the most powerful king, and he's the most powerful king of the gods of the in the Greek pantheon. Yeah. So he was not known for his fidelity. And when he started to pursue other nymphs, yeah, Echo would go in there and intercept Hera with
Right.
different tales, with distract Hera, yeah, to the point where her voice became a smoke screen, buying Zeus time to vanish into whatever adventure or pleasure that he wanted. Yeah. When Hera figured this one out, he and uncovered the deceit, yeah, that was going on then, she, Hera, punished Echo. And how did Hera do it? She punished Echo's voice, her superpower. Yeah. Hera distorted Echo's voice. Um, she even she probably said, "Hey, from now on," Hera declared, "you will only speak the last words spoken to you, and never your own, never the first words." How is that for as a punishment? That's
Wow.
good. So Echo also became a ghost of her former self, right? Because she's no longer an expressive being. Yeah. She's only now the reflection of others' words, a mimic. Hence the word echo, a shadow.
Ah,
Yeah. So that was Echo's punishment. Yeah. Then
wow.
came Narcissus. Yeah. Narcissus is the most beautiful man in the whole wild world. He was a beautiful man. I've noticed they used the word beautiful. They didn't use the word handsome. Yeah. He's a beautiful man. So whatever definition, I don't know why the Greeks chose the word beautiful rather than handsome. They chose the word beautiful. So Narcissus is a bloke. He's a hunter, and his beauty radiates out of him, and even the gods admired his beauty, and the mortals, they got no chance, right? So
Mm,
wherever Narcissus walked, you know, he just gets he stuns people with his beauty. Yeah. So
right.
because he's a hunter, he's always in the forest, right? And what are in the forest? The nymphs. Yeah. So wherever he goes, everyone, animals, creatures, goddesses, nymphs, always offer their hearts to him. Yet he returned not a single love. Not out of cruelty or indifference, but he just he knows his beauty, I suppose, you know. So everybody is not on his level. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he could not see past himself. Yeah. Everybody else is another level, as in below level, like a background level. Yeah. And yeah, that's what Narcissus thought of himself. He can't see past himself. When Echo saw Narcissus, immediately she fell in love with him, right? But she was cursed, remember? She can only say the last few words. So she can only follow Narcissus silently. She waited until she had her moment. So she waited for him to speak so she could echo back a fragment. And she was trying to find the best words, but it never happened. So until one day, Narcissus wandered alone and Narcissus called out because he felt something. Narcissus said, "Is anyone there?" Yeah. And Echo, "Is anyone here?" Should I say? That's what Narcissus said. And Echo replied, "Here, here," like an echo, right? So Narcissus looked around, "Come to me." Yeah. And then Echo repeated, "To me, to me, to me," right? And when she stepped forward, arms reaching out, I'm talking about Echo reaching out to Narcissus,
Mm,
he recalled and went, "Away from me." Like, ugh, who are you? Yeah. And then Narcissus, mean in the most cruel way, said that I would rather die than let you touch me. That's what he said to Echo. Brutal, isn't it? Echo, humiliated, like, whispered, "Let you touch me," because that's the only thing she can say.
mm,
Yeah. She fled, broken. She hid in caves, withdrew from sorrows, and faded until her voice remained, repeating, fragmented, lost. But Nemesis, the goddess of divine justice, saw the whole thing. Yeah. She decided that Narcissus would feel what he made others feel, to love something unreachable, cannot be touched. Yeah. So one afternoon, Narcissus came upon a pool, like a water place. Yeah. And it was still. It was still. It was very still, glass like water. Right. As he leaned his to drink, right, he saw a face, right? And if you remember what is the goddess of justice, is his name? Nemesis.
mm.
How interesting is that, eh? I love the way
Yeah.
we use words now, everyday words that are named after these guys, right?
Interesting. And
Uh,
so Nemesis was actually the nemesis of Narcissus.
well, I think in modern terms, Nemesis is like the goddess of karma in a way, of
Mm,
justice, right? Well, now let's stick with justice, but that's what Nemesis does. It's just like, oh,
yeah.
okay, if you did
Yeah.
that, it will be done to you as well. So anyway, so Nemesis organized that very still um, water that it's like glass-like. So when Narcissus was about to drink, he saw his own face. He was like, "Oh, what a good-looking man." So it begs to differ now that it's that he was stunning. Yeah, he was gentle, longing, like he fell in love with his own beauty. Yeah, he fell in love with his own beauty. Yeah. Um, one of the Anyway, so he fell in love with his own reflection, not knowing that it was his reflection. Remember, he can't see past himself,
Right.
right? So he reached for it and the image dissolved. So he will wait and wait and wait and never speak, never spoke to him. He just remained in the pool looking at that reflection. Yeah. Transfixed. He didn't move. He was waiting for that pool to be perfect. Yeah. He never moved. He stayed there. He starved. He was sleep deprived. He was obsessed with his own reflection. But he could not touch it. Or every breath, every he say, hey, he speaks, it gets ruined because it's just a reflection in the water. But he could not leave. Yeah. Eventually he wasted away and died there beside the illusion he loved the most. Where his body lay, the gods caused a flower to grow, the Narcissus flower, pale, delicate, forever bowing towards the water, rooted a place of illusion. And that's the story of Narcissus.
Well, I had no idea that was the story of Narcissus or where it came
Yeah,
from.
yeah. So,
That kind of gave me the goosebumps.
yeah,
It's haunting.
yeah,
So Narcissus essentially rejected Echo,
yes,
someone who could only reflect him,
yeah,
and then fell for his own reflection,
yeah,
which could do nothing but reflect him.
yes, correct.
Talk
And
about karma.
what I've also noticed that he ignored everybody. Narcissus ignored everybody except Echo,
Hmm.
because Echo was doing an echo of his last words.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, that got his attention. Yeah. And then, but Narcissus didn't like how Echo looked like and said, nah, be gone. Yeah. So the only time he paid attention to someone else is an echo of himself.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which is, I find interesting, by the way. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, he fell for his own reflection. So precisely, Echo could not offer love, and Narcissus could not receive love. Both were trapped in reflections. Yeah. And echoes. Neither could connect.
And it's essentially got nothing to do with like the vanity or taking selfies. All right. I think it's a warning about emotional disconnection.
Yes. It's the tragedy of mistaking image for intimacy, right? Narcissus didn't die because he loved himself. He died trying to possess something that wasn't real.
You wonder if he even knew that he was hurting someone.
Yes. I don't think he even realized that it was his reflection. Like, because how can a human being or a creature with intelligence not see that, right? But he was that in love with his own reflection. Yeah. And this is what I find interesting is we talked about the selfies and social media and that stuff, and that's what a narcissistic person does, right? But it's narcissists fell in love with a a reflection of himself that from his point of view is himself. Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
that's a reflection. That's not you. That's a reflection, right? This is a if that was a glass, that's not you. This is the reflection. You is you, right? And another thing that is very, I think Madonna started it in her song Secret, but self-love is a big thing nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Why did I quote Madonna? Because Madonna said in her song In Secret is she won't love anybody else until she learns to love herself first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a dangerous thing to do. Yeah. Because a lot of people love themselves already. So, or a lot of people cannot love themselves at all. So you now have a barrier to love anyone else.
I think it would have been she could have more accurately sort of framed that as you couldn't love someone else until you found you were comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yes, correct. Maybe it just didn't sound better on the beats and the rhythm of the
Yeah,
song.
exactly right.
But she said it that way, and now it's now a self-love is a big thing. So Narcissus didn't see them. That's the core of it. Yeah. Narcissus wasn't malicious. He was blind. To him, others were just irrelevant. Yeah. Unless they mirrored him back or even echoed him back. Yeah.
So it strikes me the question here is how did essentially a myth morph into a clinical diagnosis?
Yeah. Early psychoanalysis, like Freud and everybody, Havelock, Ellis, um, borrowed a lot from Greek mythology.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because I find Greek mythology so interesting because their stories are of gods and goddesses, nymphs and creatures with the most flawed human traits, right? Like having an affair, a
Yeah.
god having an affair, for example, like Zeus did, right? A jealous wife, Hera, right? How easy people just lose how gods and goddesses lost their tempers and just punish people for their amusement, right? In this case, you got Echo and Narcissus. I mean, those are human traits. And that classic, I'm not sure who said it. I think it could be Nietzsche. God created man and man created God, something along those lines, right?
Right. Right.
So, so Freud, Havelock, and Ellis began using myths to describe, certain mental structures, right? But it was actually Kernberg and Kohut who truly formalized it. They saw narcissism not as inflated ego, but as a fragile, I think a fragile ego, yeah.
So not so much inflated, a fragile ego.
Yeah. Yeah. So a narcissist doesn't have a stable self. They depend on external reflections to feel whole. People aren't people to them, they're mirrors. Yeah. And they're tools to regulate their esteem, their self-esteem, if you want. Yeah.
All right. So it's not so much about being full of yourself, for want of a better way to put it. It's about being empty
Mm.
and needing constant validation to hold yourself together.
I think you're pretty spot on there.
Yeah.
The narcissist lives in a hall of mirrors, not maybe to admire themselves, but it's their survival thing, right? It's almost like a survival mechanism.
And these days we throw that word around because someone says no to us
Mm.
or because they ended a relationship. We're not diagnosing someone. None of us have that ability to diagnose someone unless you're a psychiatrist, perhaps. What we're actually doing is projecting.
Yeah, we're actually unwittingly diluting the signal. The myth isn't about selfishness. Yeah, it sounds like it's selfishness, but it's also about isolation. Yeah. The danger isn't confidence, it's disconnection. The inability to relate, to see others as real. And when that pattern goes crazy or insane, literally damages everything around it.
Hmm. And so what do these words actually mean? Let's go through them.
Sure.
Let's define them. I guess how you define them clinically, not sort of casually, socially, which is how they get used these days. So, a narcissist, for example, which is typically more called narcissistic personality disorder,
Yeah.
um, they display a grandiosity, a lack of empathy, and a deep and genuine need for admiration. And it's not just arrogance, they actually can't form deep emotional bonds. They don't see you, they essentially use you to feel important.
Yeah. In the myth, Narcissus couldn't love others because he never left the mirror, right? So true narcissists reflect only themselves. Every connection is about preserving that fragile self-image that they fell in love with. All right. So number two. All right. The next one is psychopath. Yeah. It's also a personality disorder, a subset. A psychopath is cold, calculated, and emotionally detached. Superficially charming, no remorse, no empathy, just strategy. Watch out for this guy.
Yeah, absolutely watch out for them. They don't lose control, they don't rage. They essentially, how can I put it? They smile while
Mm,
they manipulate and dismantle.
yeah. You know
All right.
the infamous Ivan Milat is a perfect
Yeah.
example of this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, sorry, go ahead.
No, go, you go.
Yeah, he was very precise. He was very charming, and yeah, he was a psychopath. So his
He's very, very
psychopathy
precise,
is
very charming, and completely nuts.
yes, correct. So psychopaths is a person, is I would say that person was born with that, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
as opposed to to the next one, which is Jono, go ahead, mate.
So the next would be a sociopath.
Yeah.
Now, a sociopath is more impulsive, emotionally reactive, tend to be shaped by trauma or environment, as you're alluding to, apart from being born that way.
Yes. So
And a sociopath kind of feels like they don't need to regulate.
mm, the way it was explained to me is they're pretty much the same, yeah, but one was born with it and the other one is nature, one is nurture,
Yeah.
right? One was genetically that way, yeah, and the other one, which is the sociopath, got it because of their environment, yeah. Just a lot of trauma. So if the psychopath is born, the psychopath is forged.
You said
Think,
psychopath twice, mate.
oh, sorry, man. Okay, three, two, one. If the psychopath is born, the sociopath is forged. Think unstable, reckless, and defiant, not calm, but dangerous in their own way.
And look, spotting these patterns takes discernment. This is kind of why we did this today. Most of us aren't qualified to pick these people. You know, we can pick up traits, but spotting these patterns actually takes discernment. It's not about single acts, but repetition. You know, narcissists, for example, idealize, devalue, then discard, and they do it over and over again.
Yeah. A psychopath is a smooth manipulator. Yeah. Two steps ahead, no guilt, no conscience. Often embedded in high functioning systems, right? Corporate, military, political.
I can guarantee you, in my entrepreneurial career, in my corporate career previous to becoming a psychotherapist, I absolutely dealt with some psychopaths.
Yeah.
But let's talk about sociopaths. Watch for the rage, watch for the boundary violations, you know, impulsive betrayals. They don't hide well and they do burn bridges fast. Behavior, you could look at it this way, behavior is what they show. Pattern is what they leave behind. Don't watch the performance, observe the wreckage.
All right, let me ask you this, mate. This is, you're going to love this question. Where is Trump here?
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Although, again, not my place to diagnose. Not my place to diagnose. But you would probably call him more along the lines of being a sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, well and truly, you know, not being a qualified psychiatrist, mind you, being a psychotherapist,
Yeah.
I still think I can confidently say that.
I think it's all three of the above.
Yeah, yeah.
It's definitely narcissistic. Yeah.
Oh, raving narcissist.
Yeah, I think as in malignant narcissistic.
Malignant.
Yeah.
He genuinely needs to feel the admiration of those around him. It's almost like he has no self-worth without it.
Yes. And he cannot handle anyone saying anything bad about his image.
Yeah.
So if he's looking at that pool like Narcissus did, like that glass, anyone that touches that and breaks that image of him that he's looking at, he'll get mad.
Yeah.
So I think he hit the trifecta. Good
Yeah.
old Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he might have.
Anyway, why do we call someone a narcissist when they don't text back? Or a psychopath because they left us without a closure?
It's because when we experience pain, it demands a story. And if we can label them, we don't have to look at what they touch within us.
I just want to say this before I go to my next point. I think there is a narcissism in all of us in varying degrees.
Oh, to some extent, absolutely. I mean, a small child is by nature a narcissist.
Correct.
They have to be to survive.
Yeah. Imagine that. They're not happy, they'll cry. And they won't stop crying until you make them happy.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so immediately when people go, oh, your ego, I think currently in 2025 and maybe in the future, especially in the 20s, maybe it's gonna keep on going. We call that person is a narcissist, right? We say that, but before, maybe not even 5 years ago, when a narcissist as a term is not as popular, we call them that's ego-centered. You know, ego-centered person it can't pass themselves, right?
Yeah.
And everybody is ego-centered. I can tell you why, because the only point of view you can see is yourselves, right?
Yeah.
You're looking through your eyes, right? You can empathize with someone, but that's not truly their point of view. That's empathy now, right? Having said that, yeah, projection isn't truth. Sometimes we weaponize psychology to avoid our own shadow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Stoics call it the path. Yeah. Um, when emotion distorts perception, yeah, feeling wounded doesn't mean the other person is disordered. Yeah.
It's exactly right. And to be clear, like what we're sort of pointing out here, what we've been talking about a bit so far is, labeling other people with these conditions as a way to stop looking into ourselves.
Yes.
But again, let's be clear, real narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths, they do exist.
Yeah.
And encountering them,
Yeah.
it can rattle your identity to the core.
Yeah. Especially sociopaths and psychopaths. There's no
Yeah.
cure for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can only regulate themselves so they don't destroy everything in their world, but there's no cure for them. And our prison system is full of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the psychopaths, a lot of top level government officials and top level in the corporate worlds are functional psychopaths. They destabilize your trust, your memory, your sanity. They don't break your heart, they reprogram it.
Yeah. And this isn't about blame, it's about boundaries, right? Essentially, you're not crazy, you're waking up.
Yeah, yeah. What to do if you're around one of them? Yeah, it's a good question, I believe. With narcissists, don't fight, don't feed them, gray rock them. Yeah, emotionless. That's what gray rocking is. Like you're gray. Yeah, emotionless responses until they lose interests. Yeah,
Exactly right. And with a sociopath, you might want to document everything. And I mean that, document everything.
yeah,
They go really hard at gaslighting, keep receipts, limit contact.
yeah. Psychopath, get out. Cut contact. These people don't change. And ladies, women is particularly, um, uh, naturally you like fixing people. Yeah. Avoid the sociopath and the psychopath. Just get them
Yeah.
out. Just yeah.
And that's it. And these people tend to exploit your empathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy thing to do. So um, here's a question.
Yeah.
What if you think you might be one?
That's a
Right?
good one.
What if someone out there listening today
Yeah.
thinks they might be a narcissist, a psychopath, or a sociopath? So if you're genuinely asking, you're probably not.
Yeah.
Real psychopaths don't introspect. They don't waste their time on that.
Yeah.
Narcissists don't self-reflect, not in a
No.
negative way.
No. Yeah. But if you notice manipulation, emotional detachment, lack of empathy, don't shame yourself. Investigate. Yeah. Remember, the shadow is not your enemy. It's part of you waiting to be reclaimed. So remember, your shadow are those repressed experiences that we have, that we're embarrassed, ashamed of. We put it down into the crevices of our unconscious. Okay, so Narcissus, yeah, Arjuna, Set. These are the names of the ancient myths, yeah, from the ancient myths. Yeah, they spoke of these forces long before we gave them clinical names, right?
Yeah, and the Stoics, who we talk of very fondly a lot, they warned us, don't be ruled by ego, or you become a tyrant to yourself and others. And I want to repeat that. Don't be ruled by ego, or you become a tyrant to yourself and others.
That is so cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's so profound. Yeah. We aren't just naming disorders here. We are recognizing archetypes. What was once a myth is now psychology, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, look, quite simply, uh, let's stop all of us who don't have the qualifications, let's stop diagnosing people and start simply discerning with clarity. Because when you misuse a label, you disempower yourself.
Yeah.
I had no
Instead,
choice. I couldn't do anything. They were a narcissist.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah. So instead of what's wrong with them, ask, what did I learn from this? And that's a hard one.
Yeah, it is. And look, if you've been hurt, go about healing.
Mm,
If you've hurt others, you can go about change. And if you're curious, you can simply keep learning.
nice. So, Jono, what's the last words for this week?
Well, I think it comes down to the power of knowing the difference, right? As we wrap up this conversation, I just want to leave you with something solid. Yes, narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, they exist. They're real. And when you meet one, it shakes you and it leaves marks you can't always see, but you feel them. But here's the truth. The problem isn't the word. The problem is the way we weaponize the word. We use it to label, to dismiss, to avoid the deeper work. Because when everything is narcissistic, we miss the quiet ones, the real predators, the smiling destroyers. So where does that leave you? It leaves you with discernment, with boundaries, not walls, with awareness, not paranoia. And it means asking, is this pattern depleting me? Is my reality being bent? Am I losing trust in myself? And if the answer is yes, walk. I want to say that again. If the answer to that is yes, walk. You don't need their permission to protect your peace. And if you see shadows in yourself, own them, integrate them, not to shame yourself, but to acknowledge and to evolve. Because none of this is about blaming others. It's about becoming so clear in yourself that nothing manipulative can take root. And so remember this: fear is not your compass. Awareness is. And mindset begins the moment you choose truth over a label.
Man, I like that. Fear is not the compass. Awareness is. That's so
Right,
good, man. Yeah.
right.
Um, Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on the Mindset channel. If this conversation today stirred something inside you, like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more. So next time we upload a video, you will see it.
And again, thanks for everyone for joining us this week. This is Jono.
And this is Crom.
We'll see you next week. Stay grounded, stay discerning, stay powerful.